Now, after the Oscars last week, I bumped into a somewhat disconsolate Adrian Lyne, director of Fatal Attraction, which had gained 5 nominations, including 1 for the director himself, and yet failed to pick up a single prize. Well, that's the way it goes with the Oscars, and after all, John Boorman, who wrote and directed Hope and Glory, had even more cause for disappointment. Still, my reason for mentioning Adrian Lyne has nothing to do with Academy Awards or even the fascinating information that he went to the same school as I did. Much more pertinent right now is the fact that he began his career making commercial films before going on to direct Flashdance, 9.5 Weeks, and of course Fatal Attraction. He is in fact one of a quite significant bunch of British directors who all learned their trade making telly-adverts. Among them are the likes of Alan Parker, the Scott brothers, Ridley and Tony, and Hugh Hudson. This is the kind of work they do now. Alan Marshall too began his career in commercials before producing films such as Fame and Midnight Express.
And I think there's lots of things that commercials have actually poured back into making movies, and I think if you look at the quality of and look of feature films now from the same feature films of say 25 years ago, I think there is an enormous amount of difference in how directors, art directors perceive light and sets.
They gave films an ability to edit and cut and shoot in a way that films weren't doing. Because advertising was developing this visual medium, this ability to talk visually, it had developed a way of shooting that was much more energetic, was faster, was quicker.
Contact, multiple bogeys, 165, 2 miles. Looks like they're going away from us.
These directors have made films that have been more successful at the box office than with the critics.
Tony Scott directs with an array of long lenses and a verve that should ensure him a career in airline commercials for life.
And I think they feel that they need to come through some form of schooling, which in some respects you can understand, but on the other hand, nobody stops a great painter from painting something by saying to him, look, you've got to go back to school and learn how to, you know, mix the paints.
Well, it was like, first time I met her, I knew. And she looked so damn adorable in that cop's uniform, putting on a tough act.
So it was love at first sight.
The effect is to lend luxury a sort of integrity and to make ordinary bourgeois life seem actually wasteful.
I don't agree with them. I just don't know where they've been all their lives or whether they actually walk around during the day and what they see and what they look at and what they take in. Because somebody who was characterized as that kind of individual does live like that, does dress like that, and I've seen plenty of them and I know plenty of them. And so I think her portrayal in terms of how she was accurate. And I think a background, an environment, whether it's a ghetto or whether it's a you know, $5 million apartment on just off Fifth Avenue, and there are plenty of them, believe me, reflect a character.
The criticism tends to be that it looks like a commercial. Now, I don't know exactly what looking like a commercial is. I don't think anybody would really criticise Bertolucci, and certainly not The Last Emperor, for its look. But, I mean, the light source is very commercial orientated.
these other men, they're not real men. They are all eunuchs. And now they're all waiting for me to die.
I think there are certain directors who probably keep a very low profile in that they will make the odd commercial, go back into feature films, and nobody actually ever knows. But it's the likes of, again, repeating those 5 or 6 names, the Hugh Hudsons, the Ridley Scotts, the Tony Scotts, the Alan Parkers, the Adrian Lynes, who actually get criticised purely because they've never tried to hide the fact that they were in commercials.
And maybe you didn't know that Stephen Frears, Peter Greenaway and Nicholas Roeg have all turned their hands to 30-second dramas. What makes this crossover work?
The one thing that good commercial directors understand, they understand that good commercials tell a story, and that actually that's what films need to do. They need to tell a story, and they learn that. Because when you're making commercials, a commercial director might be making 15, 20, 30, 40 commercials a year. He's telling 40 stories per year.
Could that storyline possibly owe something to Fatal Attraction?
It genuinely wasn't, but when we were sort of in pre-production with it, because actually the script was written about 6, 7 months ago, we actually suddenly occurred to us, my God, this is Fatal Attraction, and we're going to be seen as sort of aping that. But actually we didn't really mind. We thought that's great. It just says, I think that Fatal Attraction has been successful because it's touched a nerve end of social attitudes right now, in the same way that the K-Shoe commercial has touched a nerve end of social attitudes right now. So I think they both coincided, really, rather than one led off the other.
But if the shoes ad was a coincidence, these certainly weren't.
I won't say goodbye.
No, don't say goodbye. It sounds so permanent.
It's only for a very short time. Look after yourself.
I will.
Bird's eye roast beef dinner for 1.
People are becoming more visually literate. Maybe 15 years ago, a Holston Pills commercial would have been much less readily understood. TV advertising is becoming more sophisticated, and I guess that people's ability to cope with cleverer advertising does reflect on the fact that they are seeing more movies and that they are, as it were, being led along by the movie business.
Oh, you naughty girl! Been pouring draft lager down the sink again.
I'm not very bright, I guess.
Well, you know what the local stuff tastes like, sweetheart.
Ball salts and a tube of toothpaste.
Well, guess what I've bought for you?
The biggest thing since the Graf Zeppelin.
Right. You like that Holston Pills, don't you?
My spine turns to custard. I get goose pimply all over.
Right. I bet you like the blokes who drink it and all.
Oh, I wouldn't mind to wear glasses.
This could be...
Well, what better compliment to the film industry than to borrow extracts from one of its best-loved movies?
Holston Pills, a sugar turns to alcohol production.
People say to me, why do you still do commercials? And the reason why, it's like saying to a painter, why do you still keep painting, you know? Why do you only do 1 canvas a year? The British commercial director contingent are doing pretty well. So I'm delighted to be lumped together with that mob, because it's a pretty classy mob.
They also tend to make rather a lot of money too.